الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, sesungguhnya kami berkumpul pada majlis ilmu ini untuk menimbangkan ilmu-Mu yang sangat luas. Maka berkatilah dan redailah majlis kami pada hari ini. Allahumma a'inna ala zikrika wa syukrika wa husn ibadatik. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Rabbana zidna ilman warzuqna fahman. ربنا افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا من خزائن رحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. رب يسر ولا تعسر وبتمم بالخير. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Amin.
Aiman, please unmute.
Aku baca semua.
Thank you, Aiman. Our webinar today was organized as an initiative to enable knowledge sharing between students and the industry expert in cybersecurity and the forensic field. And today we are focusing more on legal aspect. It's aimed to give opportunity for students to interact directly and gain first-hand information from the industry expert and practitioner in their fieldwork. Before we start, I would like to remind all participants to mute your microphone throughout the session. If you have any question, you may post in the chat box or you may ask directly to the speaker throughout the session. Without further ado, I would like to invite our distinguished speaker for today, Yang Berbahagia, Datin Haji Maizarah Zainal Abidin, Head of Prosecution Department Legal Sector, Malaysia Communication and Multimedia, MCMC. Thank you, Bahagia Datin, for being able to be with us again today. And I hope it's not too late to wish you a very happy new year.
Thank you, Aiman.
We really appreciate your time and
Hello.
commitment about our speaker background. He's a bachelor of law holder from the International Islamic Institute of Malaysia. She has 15 years of experience serving the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) since 2006. She began serving in the legal department and MCMC secretary in 2016 and now head of prosecution department. Yang Berbahagia Datin has vast experience in law and enforcement, especially in telecommunication and cybercrime field. She has been involved in various committees related to legal and policy planning in telecommunication, criminal law, cross-border cyber activities that involve deep stakeholder and overseas, including the Attorney General Chamber, the Royal Malaysian Police, the National Security Council, Ministry of Home Affairs, United States Department of Justice, FBI, and many more. She also actively involved in outreach and engagement activities as a panelist and speaker on various forums and platforms to raise public awareness and cybercrime, cyber law, enforcement, ethics, and internet government among prosecutor, lawyer, state attorney, academic, officer in the public and private sector, university, and general public. Without further ado, let we hear from our distinguished speaker. Thank you, Datin.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aiman, for the introduction. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
All right then. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Fakaria, and also the Center for Computer Technology and Networking Studies for organizing this talk, giving me the opportunity to share my experience and knowledge, yeah, in relation to the legal perspective, the criminal cybercrime within the legal perspective of MCMC. So I know that this is a good time, and I guess it's going to be a challenge for me to um, make you guys stay awake because it's in the afternoon, and I guess all of you had a good lunch today, and furthermore it's a Sunday, so I'm trying to make this much more informal, and probably we could make it more interactive so that legal topic is very dry. So I would appreciate that if you have any question, to just post it the question straight to me directly. Just switch on the mic, then just putting on the legal on the chat box and ask question. At least I would know what are what are your focus. What do you want me to focus on? So um, okay, we shall start. Before we start, I would like to know, do any of you guys know what is an MCMC? Be more interactive, post in your chat box. Let me find out. Do you know what is MCMC? What do MCMC do? Maybe you could write in a few things, or maybe on your mic and tell me. Yeah, I know MCMC stands for Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission. But what do we do? What is our role?
If I may answer.
Yes, please do. May I know who's there?
The name is Ivan.
Ivan. Okay, Ivan. Hi.
Okay. How I came to know what MCMC is? It's in charge of regulating, like what multimedia can be shown in Malaysia. Like, for example, certain movies can be blocked, as well as pornographic sites and all that. You regulate all the multimedia that is not allowed to be shown in Malaysia, as well as take care of, like, when there's a lot of scams and all that. Those things fall under your jurisdiction, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ivan. Partly yes, you took part of our task, but okay. Regulators for communication, good. Yes, governing digital and IT related matters. Fauzi, yes, correct. Let me see. Yeah, okay. MCMC, we are the regulator for the communication and multimedia industry. So when you talk about communication, what falls under communication? So we have the telecommunication, we have the broadcasters, we have the postals, we regulate postals, we regulate digital signatures, and lastly the strategic trade acts. So there's quite a few things that we regulate. But then what is MCMC famous for? I mean, not the things that you always hear in the news, is in relation to abuse of social media. So in the eyes of the public, what they see MCMC is like a internet police. Do you agree with me? We, as Ivan said just now, we look at all these sites which is not pornographic sites, and all those comments that we made which is against the act, violation of the law. So in the eyes of the public, we are seen as being an internet police. Secondly, there was presumption that they say that we have a directory, a keeper of a directory which has all the personal details of all internet users in Malaysia. Okay, sometimes people come to us and ask us, may we know, can we ask you what are the who is the account holder for this particular web email, who is the administrator for this website? We have that coming from lawyers too. And some also say that we are stalkers. We monitor all websites, we monitor all blogs, So those are the presumptions in the eyes of the public. But in actual fact, this is MCMC. Abuse of social media is only a small portion of what MCMC do. So other than that, we regulate. We regulate the communication and multimedia industry. We do licensing, postal services, which are Post Malaysia, all the courier services, we regulate them. Consumer protection in relation to, for example, quality of services, the coverage. We have the cybersecurity, so it comes under us. Also, we have the communication infrastructure, and a few other things. So basically, on the abuse of social media is only part of it, but there are other things that we are doing. So, for example, there was saying that all offences which are internet related comes under the Communication Multimedia Act, which is regulated by MCMC. So that's why everything, because whenever we receive a complaint, for example, sometimes even for the police report, they say that, reports related to internet or related to, messages sent through WhatsApp. So refer it to MCMC. But in actual fact, there are other legislation besides the Communication Multimedia Act, which regulates and enforces crimes, internet crimes. Okay. For example, I can say penal code. You have penal code. You have what else? What else? The other laws under other law enforcement agencies. They will even say that MCMC is the sole enforcer for all the internet-related offences, which is wrong, because we have other law enforcement agencies such as the police. We have the KPDN HEP. We have other law enforcement agencies like immigration. They do enforce, but based on their own legislation. And they say that MCMC, this is a famous thing. They say MCMC monitors all communication. Just to tell the reality, we do not have such capability. There are millions and millions of websites and blog spots and WordPress. We don't communicate. We don't monitor all those communication. We come into the picture when there is a complaint that has been raised to MCMC. Fourth, they say the internet is a different world with its own legislation. But in actual fact, whether you are online or offline, it's the same legislation being used. For example, physically, conventionally, theft. It's normal theft. You go into a place, you take the things without paying. I mean, that's theft. But now, if it's online, it's the same thing. Also, you like scam. You have access to the internet. You request them to, for example, let's say, scam online scam, phishing. You send something, emails, and you ask somebody to click on the link, and then from the link they fill up information, and suddenly you see that they share all the personal information, and suddenly they're able to access to their bank account, money was withdrawn from their account. Okay, so whether it is online or is offline, the same legislation is being used. That is the penal code. Some say that internet related offences are allowable or permissible. Whether it's a crime, crime remains a crime. Wrong is still wrong. There is nothing, if it's in internet, it is allowable. Okay. And then again, they say that MCMC has a directory, but no, because all information in relation to ownership, it belongs to reside at the telecommunication service providers. They call it the subscriber info. All right. All right. Entertain issue regarding telcos. Correct. Okay. Okay. We'll share with you where are we currently now. There's about 32.57 million country population. And as at the moment, there are 27.43 million internet user, active internet user. And we have the same amount of social media users. So from this, that is because there is, when the penetration rate is higher, people are using internet. Maybe there are some who are using, I'm sure there are some using internet for the good purpose, but there are some people who take the opportunity to go to internet and commit crime. So if you see, based on the complaints that we receive every year, there is an increase in the number of complaints. but these are complaints which is covers everything. As in like, for example, complaint on the quality of service, billing, infrastructure, complaints in relation to technical standards or coverage. So, but then complaints in relation to social media is just about probably less than 10%, because we have complaints because there are provisions in the Communication and Multimedia Act which regulate social media abuses. Are you guys following me?
Yes.
All right. So if you have any question, please do ask me question. And if you think that I'm a bit too fast, please do stop me. Yeah. All right. So okay. Currently there are many. What we see now, there's the acceptance to new technologies are very, very rapidly accepted. If you based on this research that was done by McKinsey, for example, airlines, it takes them 68 years in order to get 50 million users. But when you look at this application, through YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pokemon, it just take within the range of 4 years to 19 days. All right, so that's how people are more adapting to using internet, to use the application. And surprisingly, lately we see that Pornhub takes about 19 days to be accepted to get a 50 million users. All right. Okay, this is the current family situation right now. If you happen to go to a restaurant while waiting for a food to serve, family sitting together, but each has their own handphones and will be browsing their own websites. Okay, because it's accessible. Okay, so what is a cybercrime? Before I go on, I have some ideas here. What do you think the difference between cybercrime and a normal conventional crimes? Can I have someone to voice out? What is the difference between cybercrime and a conventional crime? Platform, correct? Very good, Aiman. Besides that, how about because cybercrime use the internet, and normal crimes we have to do it physically, right? Yes, physical against digital, correct. And high role. All right. So cybercrimes are activities in which we use the computer and network as a medium or as a platform to commit a crime. So irrespective of the type of crime that you did, for example, if cheat is still is still using the same legislation. For example, cheating, whether it is created through internet, platform internet, or is a traditional cheating, is still using the same legislation. So it's very neutral in that sense. Okay, and then you talk about fraud, theft, extortion. We have such provision in the penal code, irrespective of what platform that they use. Okay, so there are two types of cybercrime. Firstly, those are using the computer and the internet to commit crime. Okay, the other part is they use the computer as a target. For example, hacking. Yeah, hacking, they use the computer as a target. And why is it it's attractive? Cybercrime, people currently using crime to commit crime through cyber, because internet there's anonymity. It's very difficult for us to identify who the person is. It's fast. Currently, everyone wants a fast internet. So you see, you can get information across the world very fast. There's no boundaries. There's no more. Within Malaysia, you can even access news from overseas, cheap and easy. There are so many packages that are being offered by the telcos, offering cheaper data packages, and it's easy accessibility. There is so many hotspots which creates opportunity for people to commit crime. Okay. Before we go, before we go further, do you have any question?
No, at the moment.
All right then. Okay. Just to start you guys up, I will share a video and see how what are the among the reasons why. Maybe you can share with me first before. What what besides the reasons that I said just now, because of it's as fast, it's anonymity. Why is it that so easy for people to into why is it for easy for criminals to to do cybercrime? Why is it so easy? Why is it
Okay. In my opinion,
mm-hmm.
I think because
Is this Ivan?
yes, ma'am.
All right then.
Yeah, because you can't see the person on the other side that is committing the crime.
Correct.
So you are more reluctant to trust that person. For example, as a scammer, they
Mm-hmm.
can convince you with all kinds of lies, and you will just sit here and believe on your side.
Okay.
And yeah,
The anonymity that we spoke just now, right?
yes, and then as well, they have a lot of tools to their access to use. For example, like the hackers,
Mm-hmm.
they have all the tools that makes everything easier. And today, everything is digital.
Yes, correct. Is there anyone else besides Ivan who wants to share what are the things that attracts a person to commit cybercrime? Some people able to do anything without boundaries. Doesn't require high skill. Correct, Cik Aiman. Easy money? What do you mean by easy money? Cik Aiman Shamil, what do you mean by easy money? Do you think that even I'm just putting you an idea, yeah? Do you think that probably the user themselves open themselves to be to be uh open themselves to be viewed by people, and it's easy for them to collect information about yourself, easy for them to to approach you, because to convince someone to do to release certain amount of money, or to to participate in something is not that easy. Don't you think that we as a user also play a role in in making them, making it attractive, creating opportunity for for the criminal to do cybercrime? Don't you think so?
Of course.
Correct. Why do you think so? May I know who's on the line just now? Yes, I like Aiman. Some people love attention, so they love to share everything. Correct. Correct. Just now yang cakap, of course, tu siapa?
Me.
Nama?
Iqbal.
Iqbal. Yes. Why do you say Iqbal? Why do you say of course? Kenapa?
I mean, there's no. All of the internet users probably doesn't have the skill to put a firewall, or they just use it for their own space, doesn't know the privacy things. So
Correct, Iqbal. You're right.
the attackers use that as their benefit lah, to take for example, Facebook users, or
Correct.
the old people that doesn't have the skill or doesn't know about this.
Yes, you're talking about lack of awareness, lack of knowledge, and lack of skill. Correct.
Yeah.
Good, Iqbal. I like this. Cik Hairul, T.S. Hairul, my opinion, social engineering activities in cyberspace open to information leaking. Correct. That too, because we hear about all those leakage in information, our personal information, They're right. So I'm just sharing with you a video, and probably you have a look at it and you agree with me whether is this what's actually we ourselves do contribute in, the increase in numbers of cybercrime. Watch this, enjoy watching this video, all right?
Datin, accident school tegen Antwerpen. Ja.
Insecten.
Dat blieft?
Ik voel 2 insecten op je rug. Kan dat?
Ja, vlinders.
Slovenie?
Zo, hè.
Een moto. Oranje.
Pats erop.
Zenit.
Oui, oui, bien.
Je hebt een vriendin. Julie de...
Ja.
Een boeiend liefdesleven. 3, 4 zelfs.
De vierde, daar zwijg ik meestal over, dus dat weten niet veel mensen.
Hoe is met je spierscheur? Une maison rouge, balcon blanc. Ja. Ik zie geld, ik zie transacties, maar kent je rekeningnummer van buiten? Ik denk dat ik het wel weet. Die staat wel negatief op je bankrekening.
Ja?
9-7. Last month, you spent €200 on alcohol. Vorige maand €300 aan kleding gespendeerd. 8,
Ja.
5 voor een huis dat van eigenaar gaat veranderen. €795.000.
Ja, eigenlijk.
41.
Ja.
Is dat juist?
Ja, dat is juist. Oh my god. Oh man. Ah, dat is, ik weet niet hoe eng.
Okay, guys, what do you think about the video?
Kejap, tengah delete gambar.
There you go. Okay, what do you think about the video, guys? Let's hear from other people besides Ivan, Aiman.
Nice video.
Is that actually happening?
Yes.
Do you agree with me that we share
Yeah,
things
and-
on social media?
Actually, that's the reality
Yes.
of the world right now. Yeah,
Yes.
we posted everything on our social media without thinking what is the consequences
Correct.
of our action, right?
Yes. Is
And
that- that's-
then after it's too late, then we will regret it.
correct.
Yes.
So I would like to share with you my experience because I was doing investigation for almost 10 years. What we were informed when we were talking to the police that before the criminal before the person approach you, they will do a study on you. Like for us in the law enforcement agency, before we go and we go to identify the suspect, we will do our own intelligence. Who is the suspect? So this person, they have a target, and they will do some sort like a profile of yourself, by just looking through your media social, and that's how we ourselves identify the location of the suspect just by going through their social medias. You see, in a way, we ourselves open ourselves, that giving that opportunity for us to being analyzed by people, to be what is our trend, what our dislike, our like. For those young, they call it love scam. Do you happen to know about love scam? These people, before they approach you, they have already did a profiling on you. What type of person you like? What are the type of person what do you like? What do you like to eat? What is your preferences, your hobby? They do the preferences, and then what? I have entered this particular, where we did a raiding. We went to the place. It was involving some foreigners. Inside his laptop, there was lots of love words, all those love notes, whatever words that they want to say to you. Sometimes if you realize, those things are macam copy and paste. They have already kept those, some sort like a dictionary of what are kind of words that they would say. Okay, so this is happening and we ourselves contribute to it. So are you guys with me? Hello? Senyap je ni. Susah juga.
Yes,
Quite difficult to
still here.
Okay, all right then. So there are many types of cybercrime. If you look at the slides, there's cheating. That is like buying and selling scam. We have buying and selling scam. There are investment fraud, non-existent loan scheme, love and marker scam. Okay, and then we have spreading negative ideologies on that is more on communism, terrorism, you know. And then here see, and then we have exploitation of women or children, sexual grooming, child pornography, sexual humiliation. Yeah, this one is part of the cybercrime. We have disturbance, violation of privacy right, dissemination of pornographic content, cyberbully, which is currently on trend right now, seditious hatred speech, contempt towards race, religion, and royalty, creating animosity between different races and groups, which is also quite up now currently, arouses the feeling of disloyalty to the king. We have fake news. Okay, fake news is happening everywhere, every time. We have fake account, fake identity, false or inaccurate information, documentary. What I'm putting to you, the type of cybercrime is actually not, there are many more others, but this is the main thing currently. Yeah. So, okay. Cyber law. We have the MSC, Multimedia Super Corridor Bill Guarantee number 7, which says that any act that is illegal in the physical world, it will similarly be outlawed in the online environment. So what is illegal offline is also illegal online. Yeah. So, and we have many acts that is regulating cybercrime. Not only the Communication and Multimedia Act 1998, which falls under MCMC, we enforce it, and so is the Royal Malaysian Police. And we have the Computer Crimes Act, which only covers for hacking. Penal Code covers everything, because Penal Code, irrespective whether it's a internet-related crime or is it a physical crime, they have the same, the provision is applicable relating to scam, online fraud, phishing, sextortion, defacement, terrorism. Then we have the Common Gaming House Act, which covers on online gambling, Copyright Act, and also the Sedition Act, which is on online sedition. All right, so there are many acts that regulate and on crime-related, internet-related crimes. Yeah. And when there's many acts, there are also different agencies regulating it. For example, for communication multimedia, for MCMC, we have the CMA, the Details Trade Act, and the Strategic Trade Act. We have the KPDHEP on the Copyright Act, okay, Direct Sale Act, Consumer Protection, and then we have the SSM, the Security Commission on Capital Market and Services Amendment Act. Those are, there are provision in their act that involves internet, okay. Then we have Ministry of Health on sales of drugs. This one is those that, you know, they promote on drugs and also cosmetic, because we have Ministry of Health coming to us requesting for us to block certain advertisement in the internet because of the product does not, you know, that's against their against their act. Sharia Criminal Enactment, Penal Code, Sedition Act, Computer Crimes Act falls under Police, RMP, Financial Service Act. We have Bank Negara, we have Companies Acts, and also the local authorities on the cyber cafe bylaws. So you see all these agencies, but we work together and we assist each other when there is, like, for example, when there is a raid that's involved for raid that involves cyber cafe, mostly done by the local authorities. So the police assist, so MCMC, KPDHP, all of us will go down and we will take action against our own, based on our own provision in the act. So there is the cyberspace does not exist in a legal vacuum, because whatever is illegal offline is also illegal online. So there is provision in our current act that can cater for it. You don't need to have a specific act that on cyber law. Okay. You know, people who make complaints to yeah, either they raise complaint to MCMC, or the public, or they make a police report, their expectation, thinking that, okay, I complain today, tomorrow we can catch the culprit. You agree with me? I think that's the expectation of the public, So they say that, okay, hari ni we come to MCMC, we make a complaint. And by tomorrow, we expect that the culprit will be arrested. Okay, that's the perception of the public. Okay, I have a question here. Does having the fake account or an account that you only use when logged in when using public computer is illegal? Does having the fake account of an account that you only use when logged in when using public computer is okay? Fake account, as long as you do not commit any offense. Sometimes, we have fake account, but it's not meant to if it's not meant or not used to commit an offense, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing illegal about it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So unless you use that fake account and suddenly do it to scam or to cyberbully somebody, then when there is an offense committed, it becomes an offense. All right. Yes, it's a challenging situation dealing with it. So in actual scenario, because you guys are taking forensic, when an investigation commences, when we receive a complaint, there are many processes that we have to follow. We have to take down. Investigation can only commence when there is a complaint being made. That is the first information report, and then we have a team who will do intelligent profilings of who's the suspect, identify the suspect. Once the suspect has been identified, then we will open an investigation paper. So that is where the IO will do the information gathering of, to see what to find the location of suspect, because the first intelligent work is just to identify the person. Now the external information gathering is to see where is the suspect currently. We need to get information, the location of the suspect, in order to prepare for raiding. We have to also take the statement of witnesses in order to ensure that, okay, what is actually to identify what is the offense that's being committed. Okay. So there are many processes, and when we go raiding, that's where you guys come into the picture. The forensic team will come in with us either during the raiding, because when you're talking about electronic evidence, it can disappear very fast. So normally when we do raiding, in such cases, when we receive complaint, we have to act within a month to make sure that we will get a fresh evidence. So when we come in with a forensic, let's say for example, all their something to do with abuse of social media, once we come in, we'll make sure we'll separate the suspect from the communication equipment, and the people that will be coming in, it will be the forensic people who will open do whatever necessary in order to get the evidence. For example, if the complaint is regarding Facebook, so the forensic people will get the password to have access to the particular laptop. This is be accessed via laptop or by phone, get the password, get the email information, all these things, in order for them to come out with a data preservation report. Data preservation report. Okay. So the process will go on gathering evidence. Then once we have the evidence, we prepare submission to DPP to see whether whether there is a case. And when upon reading the information, DPP will decide, because it's a discretion of the DPP under the Communication and Multimedia Act to decide whether to charge a suspect, to compound, or if there is no evidence, no further action. Okay, and then only the court processes will start. That is like go to trial, and this is where forensic report in cases related to internet is very, very important, because that's another way of trying to prove that you need to prove how to connect the offense with the criminal, because it's not like there is not like a direct evidence, like for example, you kill someone with a knife, so there is a knife there, but then in relation to computers, you are relying on whatever that you find in the computer in order to connect him to the suspect. Okay, and then we'll go for trial. And that is a long process. So in all, it takes sometimes more than a year for a case to be completed. All right. Okay, someone is asking me, adik use abang account to trade saham, legal or illegal? As I said just now, the same things. If it's not to commit an offence, it's okay. Okay, but unless, then again, kena tengok lah whether the brother consented for this for him to use the account. Yeah, Cik Fauzi. Faizul Fadil, SIRIM report, usually what kind of details will be on their report? Yeah, thank you. Okay, SIRIM report ni lain. Cik Faizul ni is from SIRIM?
No, a student from Malaysian.
Okay, normally SIRIM report ni is in relation to non-standard equipment. Okay, kalau you're talking about MCMC, we require SIRIM report because when let's say we do surveillance on the market surveillance, we find kita ambil we take the communication equipment and we have it tested in SIRIM, and SIRIM based on SIRIM punya semakan is they say that the communication has the devices did not get SIRIM approval, so that is where the SIRIM report will come into. But in relation to cybercrime, we don't use SIRIM report. We only rely on the digital forensic report and also oral evidence. Okay, Cik Faizul?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Akram Abdul Rahman, SC accord not allowed? I don't get you. Cik Akram, could you explain your question? Hello, Cik Akram? Related to the question about trading, but SC not allowed. Okay, all right. So that probably that is security com. I'm so sorry, I'm not able to answer that. But then I think for us, when you're talking about accounts, kan, as long as you're not doing something wrong, then it's okay and you consented for him to use. But then probably there is a provision under the security com which doesn't allow that. Okay, so when we talk about evidence, when we go to court, kan, okay, for let's start from an investigation officer punya perspective. Bila dia masuk, when he goes for raiding, he must be able to identify what is it that he's looking for. What is the offense? You know, he has to know what is the offense, then he would know what is it that he's looking for. You know, for example, let's say, for example, this is a case of spreading obscene pictures. You know, so when he goes into the suspect's premises, he must be identify what is it that he's looking for. Communication equipment. What type of communication equipment? The handphone, the laptop, every communication equipment that is in the premise, he has to put, irrespective of whoever belongs. For example, there are cases where, you know, you go to a house, in the house there is the father and the mother, so all communication equipment will be put aside, and then the forensic team will come in and go one by one to identify which particular equipment that is being used to commit the crime. So when you talking about electronic evidence, there's a digital evidence, computer evidence, social media evidence, computer generated. All these things are being taken. See, you know, for example, let's say if you're using you're talking about Facebook, they will open up the Facebook. You see who the Facebook is accessed, belongs to whom. Is the laptop being used to access the particular Facebook? Is the laptop being used as an administrator? You got to identify laptop belongs to whom. Okay, where is it found? All those things are important. Social media, like if it's involving cases, social media cases, for example, Facebook, WhatsApp, everything needs to be preserved. Okay, so those are all considered as electronic evidence.
Sorry, ma'am, just a question.
Yes.
Just now you mentioned the public can report to you. So, in what instances can the public directly come to MCMC and skip the police, or do you have to go to police first and then the police will pass on?
Yes, Ivan. It's Ivan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. We would advise that the person, because when there's an offense being committed, let's say for example, okay, you were being defamed, okay, atau you found that, for example, your personal pictures are being spread and shared in a particular website. We would advise you to make the police report first. Once upon making the police report, refer the matter to MCMC. They will you can go straight to MCMC. Either you currently, because of COVID, we will request that all complaints are made through online.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. So when you go to MCMC to make a complaint, you must make sure that you have actually got the information. For example, if it's you have made first thing, you preserve the evidence. Make a copy, or do not suddenly because of those things you start deleting the information, because we need those as evidence. So keep it. Make a screen capture of the contents, because sometimes when you go to MCMC and later you see that those comments has been removed because the person found out that you went to the police, to the authorities. So make copies of it. Okay, because these are important in order for us to find out what are the type of contents that you're making complaint. Okay, so when you go to MCMC, know what is the URL, if it's comments, make sure you take picture, have the screen capture with the date and time it was being posted. So those information will be very, very helpful when the investigation officer investigate your matter. Yeah. Now we're talking about Section 3 Evidence Act. Section 3 Evidence Act provide that, when you go to court, in order to prove a case, you need oral evidence and documentary evidence. So oral evidence, as you are well aware, is your evidence. For example, if you are a forensic expert, your evidence in court about what did you do, or what do you use, tools that you use in order to extract the evidence. So that is called oral evidence. And then we have documentary evidence. Documentary evidence is, for those who have once worked with forensic, they know that besides when there is a equipment, devices that is being sent for forensic analysis, a report will be produced, and that report will be based on what is being requested by the investigation officer. So he will produce a report. The forensic analysis will sign off the report. So those are considered as documentary evidence. And it's specifically stated in Section 3 that matters recorded, stored, processed, retrieved, or produced by a computer is a document. It's considered as a document. Whatever that you recorded, processed, retrieved are all our documents evidence. For example, you extract out the Facebook page. You take it out and say, okay, from there you found that actually for information that when you do an analysis, you found that actually the Facebook using was accessed using a particular email. The Facebook based on your analysis, you find out that the suspect is the administrator of that particular Facebook page. So those are information. And the same also is stated in the Section 29 of the Penal Code that says that computer generated evidence is a documentary evidence. All right. Am I too fast? Are you guys okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions before I proceed? Okay. Can persons that sharing or spread the picture being taken action towards them? Cik Aiman, yes, definitely. If we are able to trace, the person who is spreading or sharing pictures, actions will be taken against them, because after this, I will bring you to the provision in the Act that allows us to take action. Okay. Okay. Section 90A, 90B, and 90C of the Evidence Act states that the admissibility of electronic evidence. So this section provides that a computer-generated document or statement contained shall be admissible in evidence even if the person submitting the document is not the maker. Okay. For example, this. Let's say, for example, there is I give you something that is produced, computer generated from a computer in its ordinary course of operation. You don't need to call the maker in order to tender the matter in court. You see, macam ni ya, we go to court. A document does not speak for itself. You have to have the witness to say that, okay, this is the document that I printed out. You get what I mean? So a document, you can't just tender a document to court and say, okay, this is the document that I want to tender to court as evidence. No, you have to have the person, either the maker or someone else, to inform the court that yes, this is the document, that the document that came up from the computer with its normal ordinary operation. So then there's a certificate that you have to sign, so you do not need to call the person who printed out the document. All right. Okay. This is what I say when regarding electronic evidence, that the person, the investigation officer, when he goes for raiding, he has to have a basic knowledge. What is it that he's investigating? And at the same time, he will have to have knowledge also what are the evidence needed in order to prove to court, what are the offense committed. If it falls under, let's say, for example, Section 233, Communication and Multimedia Act, what are the elements which the prosecutor needs in order to prove to the court? Who is the person who did that? Because when you go into a place, you must be able to identify who is the accused, because that is your target. Then what is important also to know when the offense is being committed. Okay, because that's why I say when you make a complaint to MCMC, you need to know the timestamp, when the content was posted, because it's when we go for reading, they will start looking on that particular timestamp. Okay, and how is it be done? Is it going using Facebook, using WhatsApp, Twitter? Because there's so many social media platform right now. So whatever evidence that being obtained by the investigation officer, it must be able to be linked to the offense that's been committed. So let's say, for example, if that's the device, okay, I'm putting to you. Let's say, for example, you are the IO, you go into the premises, you want to take his handphone. So what is it that in the information in the handphone that you can use to connect him to the offense be committed? Can I have some feedbacks? Okay, that is when you're looking for the content, correct? Besides that, how are you going to say that headphones belong to the accused?
The account that log in to the handphone.
The account?
Yeah, like iCloud or Gmail.
Okay. Let me go further on that. Betul. Registered SIM card. You need to get information that particular number is registered to whom. Correct? Yeah, from that information, the information that has been provided by the telcos will be able to identify what is the serial number of the phone. So this is how, those are the evidence that we are looking for, and even for forensic to see that, okay, the serial number, the phone number, and everything is as per information provided by the investigation officer. He gathered it from the service provider. The service provider will provide what type of phones that are being used, what are the serial number. Those are the information that is being captured by the telcos. Correct. Social media accounts, the same thing. From social media account, because in order for you to make to open a social media account, what do you need? You need either the phone number or the email address, the email. So you have to get information from from the social account. When you open up the social account, he was able to access the social account using which particular email. So then that's how you build up your case. From the email, from the information from the Facebook, you'll be able to see dia guna account email apa, okay, what particular phone number that is being registered. So those are evidence that we can connect him to the to be the person actually posting the particular comment. Okay, all right. And then later we can go into the handphone and see whether the content that we posted can be found in the handphone. Sometimes yeah, sometimes some people they posted in the Facebook and suddenly it was deleted. What else that you look for? You go into the phone and you cannot find the content. What else can you look for? I only have Aiman, Khairul, dengan Akram. Do I have any other people, please? If let's say, for example, the content has been removed, what else can you look for? I think I have 82 people here. Anyone else besides Aiman, Cik Hairul dengan Akram dengan Ivan? Anyone else? How about Aimi? Internet history, correct? Yes, we can go to internet history, but the main thing, how do you find the content? Depends on the issue. If related to picture, can go through gallery. Right, Aiman again. Betul. That's what we do. We look at the gallery whether if it's related to the if it's related, sometimes they deleted in the Facebook that they didn't delete it in the gallery. So we check in the gallery whether the same content or pictures can be found in the gallery. Correct. I guess I have to make it more interesting lah kot ni. Come on guys. Betul. Let's get it more interesting. So let's be interactive so that we can learn something from here. Yes, cloud is a bit challenging for us because cloud is elsewhere. So sometimes we find it very difficult to have access to clouds. All right. So okay, under the Communication Multimedia Act, because sometimes someone asks me, what if the suspect refuse to provide the password, because currently all handphones dah encrypted, dah ada password in order to access. What would I do? So under the Communication Multimedia Act, I'm not sure about other acts, but under Communication Multimedia Act, there is a provision that that we can issue a notice to the person, to the accused, to provide us with the necessary password, encryption code or whatever in order for us to access. For example, like, okay, you access to account Facebook, you pakai password apa? You pakai can you please provide us the password? And the failure for him to provide, failure for him to comply to this section 249 of the Communication Multimedia Act, we can take him to court and under section 242 or under section 186 of Penal Code kerana obstructing the public officer to allow obstructing public officer from doing their task. Okay, so it's something which so far whenever we go for reading, the suspect will tell us what are the password in order to access to their account. Yeah.
If the suspect claims he forgot the password, I don't know my password anymore, what then?
Normally in such cases, we will find ways on how to do it lah. But for example, okay, in such cases we will ask, kalau katakan dia lupa they forget. So you can ask them to change back again. We will request them to do that, in order for us to get access to it, because this is all, this also happens, for example, normally it happens to Facebook when we have access. When we have access to that particular Facebook, we would request the forensic to do immediate preservation of what's in the Facebook, because you know why? Once we take it back, even though we have access to the password, he will somehow find ways to automatically change the password, because it goes back to the confirmation goes back to your email and phone, correct? So they will reset the password, correct, Cik Hairul? They will reset the password. So that's why it's important when we go for raiding, the forensic team comes with us and do it to preserve whatever that they can preserve there and then. Because there, when we come in, there's always an element of surprise. He wasn't able to delete anything. So when we come in, we'll preserve everything, we take it, but you know, most of the time they will definitely change the password and deleted all the contents. Siapa ni? Aiman, put out nails one by one. Okay. Until he remember the password. Okay. For instance, if the suspect is aware that revealing the password result in the death penalty, is it hindering the officer at a less severe offense? Okay. We'll never come into that. Normally, they will reveal us with that provision, when we issue out the notice under section 249, they will provide us the password. So if failure to do so, we'll take them to court. So we have not come across a situation where the suspect refused to provide us the password or access to their particular social media.
Okay, ma'am. One more question. The fact that if the phones get unlocked with our fingerprints nowadays,
yes,
right?
Correct.
So the fact that the phone can be unlocked with the suspect's fingerprint, is that also admissible in court?
Unlocking the phone with a fingerprint?
Yes. For example, the phone. For example, I'm the suspect. This phone, my fingerprint can unlock this phone. The phone is with me.
Correct. Yes.
But whatever information that is inside that phone that was used to commit the scam does not point back to me. The only evidence is that I can unlock the phone, but the information, I am such a good scammer that whatever is inside shows that it's somebody else's phone.
How do you do that, Ivan? Because currently, the phone is registered under your name, correct? The line that was being used for that particular phone is registered under your name. So that is where
besides, because I believe there is people that bypass or they find illegal ways to obtain a SIM card without having to use their own details.
I see. All right then.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a big challenge for us and also for police to investigate, because when there are cases that we investigate, we found out that the SIM card was registered under a non-existent person or a different person's name. But then that's a bit challenge, and then in that situation we totally will rely on what you can find from we'll totally rely for forensic what they can find in the phone in order to connect. That's why this is some of the challenges that we face, that I can't say that 100% of the cases that we investigate we were able to bring it to court, because these are some of the challenges when you are dealing with digital evidence. Okay.
Understood.
So okay, these also are some of the provisions in the Computer and Communication and Multimedia Act that allows the authorized officer to make copies and download of computerized data. This is where when I mentioned to you about us making a preservation of all the contents of the Facebook when we come in for reading. And also when for example, when it is involved big server, that we can't take it to the office back, so we can seal the server and also whatever data that is in the server. Yeah. that is under Section 2476 of the Communication Multimedia Act 1998. So before I proceed on this, is there any other question on regarding electronic evidence?
Datin, I have one question.
Yep.
Let's say if there is an incident that involved with the smartphone, and then the suspect wipe the data.
Okay.
Is there any act that can charge for the suspect? Because we don't have any evidence.
Okay. Let me answer that. Okay. First thing, you forensic people would be much better to say this, kan? When you wipe everything, there's nothing lah, kan? There's nothing that you can't find it, and then you have to see when did it happen. Let's say for example, macam saya cakap tadi kan, like I was saying that you dah masuk, you manage to get whatever that you get, and then later they wipe, but then the evidence is still with us. Tapi let's say for example kita masuk, we go into the premises and we find that there is nothing that it can be found in the communication equipment, either the handphone, the laptop. We couldn't find anything because it has already been wiped clean. There are cases that happens that way. So what are the evidence that we can charge him? What are things? First of all, we are not able to identify that he commits the offense. How can we say that he is obstructing a public officer doing their task? Correct. Because first of all, you got to make sure that there is an offense being committed. If you can't find any evidence to say that there is offense committed, that and that he is the person responsible, or he is the person who is the one who commit the offense, what are the provisions? What else can you do? Because there is no evidence to support it. So there are cases, in such cases where, you know, especially when you're talking about online scam, you know, because when we come in, we found that most of the data has been deleted. You know, they just switch off a certain switch and the whole thing, especially on online gambling. What I noticed, because I went once for raiding on online gambling. Once they see us coming in, there is a switch that they switch off, that everything was all being wiped clean. Every single computer in the cyber cafe is wiped clean. So that happens too. Am I able to answer your question? Siapa tadi? Aiman ke?
So that means MCMC cannot do anything because there is no act regarding that.
No, there is no evidence to say. First of all, there is no evidence to say that he commits a crime. What are the evidence that you have? You suspect, you know, whenever we go into play, we suspect that he is the one. So when only upon getting evidence that you can say that actually he is the one to commit the evidence, then there is something to bring to court. But then it's suspicious, you know, you need to gather evidence. So not all cases that we investigate 100% that we are able to bring them to court, because there are challenges that we face because we are dealing with an electronic evidence. It's something which, you know, it can be wiped out easily. It's not like a knife, you know, you kill someone, that knife is still there. You just need to find the knife in order to say that is the weapon that you used to commit the crime. But as for computer related, internet related offenses, you have to rely on all these other evidence to justify that, okay, to say that, because to say that he commits the crime. We only rely on secondary evidence, not a direct evidence. Okay. Am I able to answer, or you still not happy?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. We can discuss it. If you want further clarification, we can discuss it further. All right. So we have talked about the electric how you know how very difficult it is to handle electronic evidence, because it is very easy to be deleted. It has it can be tampered. So even to the extent, I think your team would know better, that whenever we make a copy of a particular document, you must make sure that it is of the same value. I was informed. So in order to confirm that actually there is nothing changed. Correct? Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think okay. So okay, now once we have gathered the evidence, I will start analyzing it, based on the report from the forensic to see whether the evidence that we gathered can connect the person suspected with the crime, the crime that we are investigating. So upon completion of the investigation, the authorized officer will prepare a minute, stating to the DPP what are the evidence that we are gathered. It fulfills the provisions of the act, and then make recommendation whether to charge the person or to compound or otherwise. Okay, so that particular investigation paper will be submitted to DPP, Deputy Public Prosecutor, for him to evaluate. And only a case can only be charged in court if the DPP consented for it to be charged in court or consented for it to be compounded. So that's the power of a discretion that is given to DPP. So Section 259 of the Communication and Multimedia Act provides that prosecution can only be prosecuted once the DPP, once we get the consent in writing from DPP. And in order for a DPP to consent that, okay, there is a case, he must be 99% confirm that there is evidence that says that that particular person committed the offense. Okay. So it's the duty of the IO to make sure if he's not happy, let's say for example, he's not happy with the evidence being collected by the IO, he can instruct the IO go further, do further investigation in order to find out, more about the matter. So when his DPP is satisfied, he will give his decision, and if the person is accused in court under Section 261 of the Communication Multimedia Act provides that only session court judge, the case can be tried before a session court judge. Yeah. Okay. Before I go into the provision of the act, any question? I know this is a bit dry because it's about legal, so I would appreciate questions from you guys so that it makes it is more interesting and that we can share information and also knowledge, because you're an expert in the forensic. Any questions? From Mr. Hairul, I think executing wiping script somehow can be a schedule. No need a person to perform execution in some event. Hairul, please explain, Hairul. I'm not a technical person. Can you please explain?
It's related to Herman's questions now. Because he said a person wiping evidence.
Okay.
So something in some event, wiping evidence don't need a person to execute it. You can just schedule script something.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm aware that meaning that you can lock, when you are having access or something, then suddenly it wipe by itself. Is it automated? It's automated, right?
Yeah, you can automate it.
Yes, correct. So like Irman, is it just now he said that it's so difficult for me to proceed to court because where there is no evidence for me to go to court. So how can I in such cases the person, it's unfair for me to bring the matter to court if I do not have an evidence against him. All right, because I have to convince DPP 99% that actually he committed the crime in order to charge the person in court. Yeah.
Because if I'm a criminal, I have 10 PC in my my premises, I will schedule a script.
Yeah, you see, the criminal always thinks ahead of the enforcer, so they always have new ways or new method that they do. But not all. Sometimes there are things that you lack, and we are able to find it. I mean, there are many cases that when we go in, especially and you're talking about scams that is being investigated by the police, the successful rate is very low because of such things, because of new tools that's being invented, new applications that can be done. For example, certain phones are very difficult to break through, encrypt when it's encrypted. So there are so many challenges that's being faced by the forensic. So, okay. And is there any other questions? Do I lose you guys? Okay, all right, Aiman. So let's start with section 223. This is the what I'm quoting to you are the provisions in the Communication and Multimedia Act, which falls under MCMC. Those are we consider as cybercrime cases that MCMC investigated. We put it under the title of improper use of network facility or network service, is whereby a person who knowingly by means of a network facilities or network service or application service makes, creates, solicit and initiate the transmission of command, request, suggestion or other communication which falls under these 5 category: obscene, indecent, false, menacing or offensive in character, with intent to annoy, abuse, threaten or harass another person. So when you look at this provision, these are normally cases such as these are cases like, for example, spreading distributing of personal or obscene photos, some sort like sextortion where you threat a person. Okay, if you don't give me something, I will circulate your photo, your personal photo, comments which are offensive in character, like for example, some comments like calling a person with a with a bad language like that. So when there is when there is an affected party involved, the person makes a complaint, so that this investigation will be carried out under section 233. And for under 2331A, which is a famous section, which not only for that being enforced by us MCMC, but also by PDRM, the fine, if you are found guilty, the fine is 50,000 or imprisonment 1 year or both, and a further fine of 1,000 for every day the offense is continued. Let's say, for example, you posted something which is offensive, and if you don't take it down, so for each day the things remains online, you'll be fined. The court can fine you 1,000 for every day. Yeah. I'll give you it's a bit difficult for me to okay, wait. Okay. Someone might ask what constitute obscene, what is indecent, what is false, menacing, offensive. So there is no specific provision in the act that says what is defined as obscene. So what I'm going to show to you are pictures, which can describe what constitute obscene. For example, okay, this is an obscene content. So these are some of these are those based on complaints that we and MCMC receive, and we categorize it as obscene. Okay, and we have indecent. These are indecent content. Examples of indecent content. This is false content. For example, during COVID, there's so many fake news about COVID-19, and that there's some of the information that was being circulated is just only to cause public annoyance, causing public to public alarm, thinking about how serious it was. It was at the initial stage of COVID. Okay. And we have examples of menacing content. This is relating to terrorism, because what we can see now that these extremists are resorting to the online platform in order to gain support from people. So they are, using the online platform in order to get people to take people's attention. Yeah. And these are offensive contents that falls under offensive content. Dalam bahasa Melayu, jelik, against royals. These are offensive content against religion. We have, I think some of you might have seen this. Offensive contents against religion too. There's she's a bit quiet now. Makcik Hajah Al-Wazura. Okay, and we also have take cases to court, under fake news under section 2231A. This is a session court case. We have a special court in Kuala Lumpur that preside on cybercrime cases only. So in this case, an individual using the application of Facebook service application service. Application service is Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. Here the person use Facebook, make and initiate. First thing you can for section 233, I need to prove to court that not only that he makes the content, he also initiate the transmission of the content, which is false in character. How do you know that this? When you look at this, it talks about Jakim declare that it is haram for female pilots to fly an aircraft while in the cockpit. So this is actually false, and this complaint was raised by Jakim to us. So we did an intelligence. We found and we locate the suspect. We raided his house. We got his handphone, and we found the content in his Facebook. In this case, we had the Attorney General Chambers to consent for us to bring the matter to charge him in court. He pleaded guilty, and he was fined 5,000. In default of paying the fine, he will be put in prison for 3 months. Yeah, these are one of the few cases that we took under fake news. Then this is another one. This was during the COVID time. About an individual who initiate transmission of content in his blog, ceritaheboh.com, and the content is false. This again was a complaint that was raised by KDN, and we locate the suspect, we raided him, we found the content in his communication equipment, and we brought him to court with consent from AG, and he was fined 4,000, in default 3 months imprisonment. So that we also have another okay, before I go to 232A, is there any question? Obscene because the word describe the picture, right? That not the picture itself. The budak sekolah picture. No, it's the word plus the picture. The picture doesn't show anything, but it's the words. Yeah. But sometimes there the picture too, because it involves a child. When being raped, devices were being taken. MCMC will keep the device forever or will return back to the owner once case closed. Okay, Aiman. When we raid premises and we seize the communication equipment, we will go through a process of sending it to forensic. Forensic will come up with a report. We bring it to, and if there is evidence, we charge him in court. If there is an evidence to prove that he is the offender and we charge him in court, it's the court who will issue out an order for the communication equipment to be forfeited and disposed of, and it would not be sent back. It will not be given back to the suspect. But if we have done all the process and we couldn't find any evidence in his phone, he can request under section 260 of the Communication Multimedia Act for his communication equipment to be returned to him. Yeah, Iman? How we can check if news are right or false? Okay. If you normally, okay, when we receive a complaint, normally it is from the respective ministries or agencies to say that the news is false. But let's say for public who wants to know whether a particular news is false or correct, please browse through our website, sebenar.my. You can find news. You can verify news from there. And if in the event when you go through those what's in the particular website and you find that it's not there, you could even ask them to verify whether the news that you got is correct or false. Yeah. Can you share hacker or cyber attack cases that was handled prosecuted by your team? Okay. Then again, Cik Fauzi, hacking and cyber attack, this is being under the jurisdiction of the PDRM. We only assisted them in their investigation by providing intelligence or the technical support, forensic. Other than we don't investigate because it comes under the penal code, and penal code for cyber attack is under the Computer Crimes Act for hack and also hackers. So that is under the jurisdiction of the Polis Diraja Malaysia, the RMP. Yes, sebenarnya.my. Cik Fauzi, okay? Alright. So, okay, just now Section 233 talks about initiating contents which are obscene, indecent, and all the 5 things, yeah. So that caters for cases macam we have cases like sharing of distribution of obscene content, cases where someone posted comments which is pretty offensive in character. So there are also a provision under Section 232A where they use the network services or the network application services to offer obscene communication for commercial purposes. So maksudnya, let's say for example, there are cases that I've done. If you want, if you become a member of a particular website, and you be able to you will get obscene content, access to obscene content. So there are cases that we investigate, and in such cases we will have someone to post in order to get access into that particular membership, in order to get the content. So here, if you are found, the fine is still 50,000 with imprisonment of 1 year, and then or both, and a further fine of 1,000. So cases, and we also has, okay, MCMC also investigate. You see, when kita pergi raiding and kita dapat all the evidence, kita akan table those evidence kepada DPP, and DPP akan memutuskan sama ada untuk mengambil tindakan, either to take an action under Section 233 of the Communication Multimedia Act or other provisions of law. So for example, as in this case, there's one case that we went, it was a complaint that was being raised for providing for sharing obscene content. A complainant came to MCMC and said that she found out that her photos were found was shared. So we went to investigate, and we identified the location of the suspect. We went in, and we found that we not only found the content that belongs to the complainant, but he also has a collection of other obscene content. Okay, so when we post it to when we bring it to the DPP, the DPP is of the view that only that he can be charged under Section 233 2A. He can also be charged under Section 292A Penal Code for having to sell, let to hire, distribute, publicly exhibit, or circulate, put into circulation contents which is obscene book, pamphlet, paper, drawing, painting, observation, or any figure lah. Maksudnya gambar pun boleh, pictures also boleh. So as in this case, there was a case in there was an individual. He was charged in Session Court Sepang under Section 2332A, and at the same time he was also charged in Magistrate Court Parang, Terengganu under Section 292 of the Penal Code. As in this case, MCMC received a complaint relating a Facebook page. They call the name the YBhg, where suspected of providing obscene content for commercial. The case was initially investigated under Section 2332A of the Communication Multimedia Act. So from the IO did information gathering, identified the suspect, and from the initial information gathering, how do we able to locate the suspect? Because there was a banking information provided, say that if you want to have access to that particular content, you got to pay a certain amount of money to a bank account that was being given. And when we check with the banks, we managed to get the name of the suspect. As in this case, the suspect has used 2 banks, and 2 banks accounts are registered under his name. Okay. Then so we raided his place, we seized his laptop, and when we seized the laptop, we found that the laptop was being used. The laptop that we seized was being used to access to the Facebook page YBhg as an admin. That is the most important thing, because when you not only access, but you must be able to access as an admin. And we also found that the laptop have access to the email account used by the accused to communicate with the buyer. We found all his conversation. In the laptop also, we found a application Cloud Mega where he kept all the obscene pictures. We found the laptop. From the laptop also, we found that there were also promotion that was being done, advertisement of that, you know, whoever wants to access to the obscene content, you need to pay, you have to contact him, pay this certain amount, and then you'll be given a link through via an email. And in the laptop itself, we found there were 7 files on Mega Cloud containing obscene photos. So forensic analysis on the external drive also found 2 main files which contained obscene pictures. So when all these things was sent to the forensic department, all these are the evidence that we are looking for that can connect us the offense to the person suspected person. So based on the evidence gathered, we found that not only can we charge him under 2332, when we also can charge him under 292 in possession of a obscene material. So as in this case, he was charged under section 232 before a session court judge and was ordered to pay fine of I think, sorry, they were not 20,000. It was 2,000 in default. In default, 1 month imprisonment, and under the 4 charges under section 292, he was ordered fine 2,500, in default 6 months imprisonment for each particular charge. So he was asked to pay 1,000 no, so 10,000 because 2,500 per charge. Yeah. Can the subscriber be in charge? No, we go against the person who, the root of the problem, the accused, who promote to sell the obscene content, not the subscriber.
Also, okay, okay, for example, the person who reported now, let's say in their mobile device or laptop, they have explicit content and images of themselves without the intention of distribution.
Okay.
And then said device gets stolen, those images, people get access to it, and then they go and make a case now. Are they not reporting themselves as well indirectly?
You say they, who are you referring to?
The victim.
Okay. You are saying that the normally in such cases the victim come to us in saying that, say, I took the photo, it was meant for a private collection, but somehow my phone was misplaced and someone my phone was sent for repair and my picture was taken away, was taken and was circulated. We have such complaints too. But
Okay,
we don't.
So if you have explicit images for private use only, is that allowed?
It's your personal content, right?
Okay.
It's for you. It's for yourself. Unless you use that unless you use that content in order to and share it with someone else, and we would not advise you to do so, because in most of the cases that we investigate, when involving someone who take all this personal photograph of themselves, and then I can tell you most cases that I have come across, is those people, those cases involving girlfriend and boyfriend sharing photographs, and then the relationship turns sour, and then okay, you don't want to be my girlfriend anymore, okay, then start to threat the person by saying, okay, if you I have some photograph of yourself, if you don't want to be my girlfriend, I will circulate your photograph. So okay, I have investigate students, okay, university students doing such things. So why do you want to share? Why do you take such photographs? Okay, so this is commonly happening, and sad to say, I'm not talking about students, it happening at all generation. Okay, I have married couples doing the same when they got divorced, using photographs that have been shared, to blackmail a person and all those things. So I think because advancement in technology, all phones can take photograph, and and as what Cik Aiman say, love is blind. Yeah, you start sharing things. Some things are being personal. Some things are personal which you shouldn't share. You shouldn't even take it. Because, in such cases, I cannot be the one who say, no, I do not want to investigate your case because you are the one who, share it with him. No, she is a victim too. So I had to. I had to investigate, and then it's so unnecessary when I have two students in front of me and saying that okay, I framed her, I threat her because she took my money, she refused to pay, she refused to pay me back. You know, that's all very unnecessary things that, you know, but it's happening, it's happening. And sad to say, lately the cases that we investigate involving students, university students, high school students, you know, and also professionals too. All right. So as in this case, what I wanted to share with you is on the evidence part. Do you see that it's so important how a forensic report is plays in to make sure that we get a successful conviction, a complete forensic report. This is one of the cases where the forensic report is very nice. Everything is there. We just need to extract the evidence and tender it court. You got to also understand when forensic report, when we want to table it to the magistrate, it has to be in a layman term, so that it's much easier for the judge to understand the process. Meaning that how, you know, the evidence is clearly stated. It's not easy when, you know, sometimes you cannot find the content, or you know, you just relying on that the number was registered under this person, atau probably to say that okay, this email is registered under this person, this he is the administrator for that particular email, but the content cannot be found. So it's so difficult to show to the judge that okay, we do not have, what we have was just a screen capture, but we couldn't, in the forensic report is negative in relation to content not found in the particular devices. Okay. So we also have section 385 penal code. This is in cases where extortion, yeah, you put fear into a person in order to commit extortion, where the imprisonment is it says here 7 years, fine, or whipping, or any two of such punishment. Because I have such cases where we investigate. As in this case, we then also section 10 of the Sexual Offences Against Children Act. What I'm sharing to you are cases which we in MCMC investigate because we initially started commence investigation under section 233, but somehow during the course of investigation and gathering of information and also evidence that was found, the DPP is of the view that we can charge them under other acts. So as in this case was section 10 Sexual Offences Against Children Act, assessing child pornography. This one is where we found that, you know, is cases where a person who has in his possession uncontrolled child pornography. So he commits an offence which caused imprisonment 5 years, fine 10,000, or both. And I will show you one case. Okay, this is a case. It was in a magistrate court, Alor Gajah, where again, as I told you, we started investigating this person because we received a complaint. The complaint was made by the parents, yeah, because the victim was underage. The parent came to us and said that the daughter received a video and also a threat. Kalau you tengok situ, a video was it was taken without her consent because it was taken while she was bathing in the bathroom. And then the threat say, kau nak video bogel kau sebab, kau tak nak jom main dengan aku. So it was a threat that was sent through via WhatsApp from a handphone number that was given. Okay, we went to the telco, get the information who is the who is the owner of that particular handphone. Yeah, this is quite interesting because when we got in, it was a lady's name. It was actually when we went to visit the place, it was the mother, and the mother said that the phone, memang she was the one who registered, but it was used by the son. Okay, so to make this interesting, the suspect was actually a friend of the victim's brother. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am. What can you maybe translate for me that sentence in English?
Oh, okay. Cik Aiman, would you want to translate the sentence in English? Okay, this is like, okay, if you want your obscene video, because the video of herself naked bathing to be spread, if you don't want it to be spread, he wants to have sex with the girl. That's the content.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So it was a threat. It's a ugutan. It's a threat. So when we went to get the person, at the time of the commission, he was a minor too. That's why he himself was a minor. So all the investigation was carried out. Based on the evidence that we found, we got the subscriber information, registered owner of the number of the belongs to, even though belongs to the mother said that, the mother said that the phone is being used by the son. Forensic report, we found the WhatsApp account and found installed in that particular handphone. We found the video in the handphone. The IMEI number of the handphone is also the same as the one that we got from the service provider's record. So those are the evidence that we managed to get. So with those evidence, the DPP said that, okay, let's charge him under section 10 for heavy possessing of obscene material, and also under 385 because he was extortion. He's trying to extort. He is creating fear to the person. So during the time when the matter was brought to court, because he's a minor, so it was brought. It was a juvenile court. It was brought to a juvenile court. The matter was being. He pleaded guilty, and he pleaded guilty. The court ordered for report a good behavior to be done, and then based on the report that was being done, it was recommended also by it was recommended that the person to be bonded of good bond of good behavior. So the court, with the power under section 91 of the Child Act, discharged the accused with bond of good behavior with 1,000 security for 2 years, ordered the accused and his guardian to attend interactive workshop for 2 years for each charge, and then further ordered that the accused to be put under police supervision. And that's pursuant to section 10 of the sexual offence. That is for the charge under section sexual offence against children. So as in this case, he was not fined, but he was bonded. Okay. But this was, this is quite happening, and it's happening among juvenile at that particular age, minor. Any question? Okay. And I also have we also utilize section in the penal code, section 505B, statement conducing to public mischief. This normally we do. We use this provision during the initial stage of COVID pandemic, where we find that everyone wants to share information, everyone to post information with the intention to cause fear and alarm to public. So we have brought cases in court, and one of it is Session Court Sepang. A woman uploaded a content which is false in her Facebook account, claiming that there is a positive case of COVID in one of the hospital in Pulau Pinang. She pleaded guilty under section 505B of the Penal Code and was fined 4,000. Okay. Okay. Now, before I proceed to online harassment, is there any other question of the provision under section, the other provision that I said just now? Is there any other question? Am I losing any people? Senyap saja ni. I mean, it's maybe we can have some interactive session. It will be much more fun. Okay, from Cik Nick Azahara, what is the first step we need to do when we notice we are cheated by someone, like she take the money from our account because it happened to my relative and I don't know what should I do. When can we report about the case? Okay. This one you Nick Zahara, okay, is the person, do you know the person?
The victim you mean?
No, the person who cheated you.
No, don't know. Actually, when we press the link, then it will connect to the account.
Correct. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, this is it's some sort of like a second scam. If you notice, sometimes you get an email or messages and saying that okay, you're going to receive a certain amount of money. Or for example, your information is incorrect, kindly click on the link to kindly click on the link to verify. Or maybe you got a call from somebody who is saying that, oh, you have a fine which you have not paid. I'm calling from Mahkamah Tinggi somewhere and say, or I'm calling from LHDN, or I'm calling from police and saying that you have a compound that you are not paid. So please speak to this particular person, and they bring you to another person to talk to, kan. So in such cases, kalau you tengok akan berlaku pada hari, it will happen on a Friday evening. You know, when it always happens during the Friday evening, because at that time when all the things happen, bank has already closed, so you're not able to call anyone to stop payment. So in such cases, it's very, very difficult. But I would advise, don't give up. Call the police. Because when you contact the police, there's a possibility if it's it just happened, they're able to trace. Call the respective banks to stop payment. Police, banks, and also if there is numbers involved, let's say for example there are numbers there, call the telcos and inform that this particular number is issuing up messages yang asking us to connect to a link or something like that. So the possibility of getting it, is very slim, but at least you have taken action so that other people doesn't fall prey to such action. If it just happened and immediately action is taken, the slim chance is possible that they'll be able to stop payment. But if it has like lapse within a few days, there's nothing much that you still need to make a report, but then the possibility of you getting back the money is quite difficult. Yeah, phishing is through email. Let's say for example that sometimes you must make sure that the website, the bank's financial institution website that you click on is actually the genuine one, because there are times where you click on the wrong one, they're able to, you key in all the information, they'll be able to get all those information. There are so many MOs, modus operandi, that are being used by these scammers in order to get information. I mean, they have utilized all the agencies and saying that, oh, these people, you have fine. They instill fear in people, especially like someone mentioned to me, old people. They instill fear. I think Iqbal mentioned about they instill fear on people, saying either you have fine, you have a court case against you, you have your credit card was found to purchase amount which is a big amount. So they instill fear in you, and you tend to provide information to them. Yeah. Have I answered your question, Cik Nick?
Yes, Datin. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions before I go to cyberbullying, online harassment?
Yes, ma'am. I have one question.
Yes, Ivan.
It's regarding also something similar now. In the case where I've seen it's a rising trend now here in Malaysia, this so-called Instagram shops. The Instagram pages, they have 30, 40,000 plus followers.
Correct.
Yes, so they look all legit and everything. They have legit pictures and everything. And then you buy something from them, because this happened to a friend of mine. He received the banking account number, he sent the money, but the items he bought, he never received. And then these pages, they are still proceeding to advertise and everything. Doesn't matter, he reported to Instagram a scam. and then also made a case. But the amount he lost, he was like 500 and something. He made a case to PDRM, the commercial department. They said they will try and help because they have X amount of amount that then only they will really take up the case to further investigate.
I
So
see.
yeah, so they have the bank account number of this person that was used. Person's name, it's a Malaysian name, as well as the WhatsApp registered number. So in such cases, what can be done? Even the bank, they said they cannot reverse the transaction because of terms and conditions and all that. So what is advice, or have you dealt with a case similar like that?
Okay. Normally, in such cases, when involving transactions such as this, is handled by the KPD and HEP, the Ministry of Trade. So you should also make complaints there, because normally when we receive such question, we will direct to the respective agencies because it falls under their jurisdiction. Okay, so in such cases, I think we ourselves as users, we need to be worried, because sometimes we purchase because we see that the price is cheap. I have my own personal experience where a friend of my daughter's wanted to purchase an iPhone for the mother. Purchase it, the latest iPhone, at only 2,000 initially, and it's quite ridiculous, because you won't be able to purchase a new iPhone with the amount of 2,000. So later, as you know, she kept on she kept on calling the person and saying that, when are you going to deliver? When are you going to deliver? Oh, we need some more money to have it posted. No, she kept on paying without realizing that she has already paid almost 7,000. Okay, so we ourselves need to be very careful, cautious when dealing in such accounts. We can take action by reporting to the police, reporting to Ministry of Trade. We can even report abuse report to the respective social media accounts. But then you still see the accounts there, right? So I think in such situation, my advice, we ourselves have to be cautious. Make sure that you read all the reviews before you start purchasing. I have people who comes and complain. They want to sell a remote remote control plane at this amount. It was cheap, so I wanted to buy. But when the thing was delivered to him, it was delivered at the size of a miniature. He's not wrong. There's a false representation. So he delivered the thing at that price. So it's commonly happening, Ivan. So we ourselves as users need to be cautious.
Yes, thank you. I saw PDRM, they have this app that you can check the account numbers.
Yes, correct. That is a mule account. Yeah.
Semak something.
Yes, you Semak Mule. So you go into the PDRM, because they provide you with the bank accounts for you to bank in. That's another thing to do. Let's say, for example, you need to bank into a particular account. You check with the PDRM Semak Mule, and they will see whether this particular account has any other complaints that arise in relation to this particular bank account. So that's another way for us to be cautious. We take steps to make sure that we are actually purchasing from a genuine purchaser. So check their phone numbers, I think if PDRM phone numbers pun, they have directly those yang commonly used for cheating. Yeah. So check the account number being used. Check reviews before you decide to purchase, because it's commonly happening. Yeah. Do we have any other questions besides Ivan? Any else? Is it dangerous if someone knows our bank account number? Yes, Cik Fat. It is dangerous. You should not reveal any of your personal information to a stranger. You have sometimes people calling you. Okay, we need verification. Could you provide us with your IC number? Can you unless say someone that to share information on your personal information and you to share personal information is not advisable, because this creates opportunity for criminals. Okay. Anything else? I quite enjoy this answer, question and answer session. Anything else? At least I know that I have audience, or else it's so quiet. And I know it's Sunday, so and the weather is so nice to have a nap. So any questions? If you don't have any question, can we proceed? It's already 4:32. Okay. Actually, my time is over. Okay, I have a quick run through. Currently, we talk about cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is commonly happening right now, but we do not have a specific law regulating cyberbullying, but we have online harassment, which comes under the MCMC too. So as you can see, the reports that we had keep on increasing as year goes by. Okay, so what we define as cyberbullying is a course of conduct committed through electronic communication by an individual or group of individuals repeatedly with hostile or aggressive message intended to cause substantial emotional distress or fear of bodily harm to the targeted individual. Cyberbullying does not stop. It continues all the time. Unlike the physical bullying, like for example, children who goes to school, they get bullied, it ends there when they go back home. But when you're talking about cyberbullying, it continues 24 hours. Okay, it causes emotional distress to the extent that and another thing, whatever that you impose, whatever that you posted in the internet, it remains in the internet. It cannot be deleted. So it continues, and then people like to do cyberbullying because it's so difficult to identify the person. It can be anonymous, and then sometimes we ourselves, we do not realize that we are actually doing cyberbullying when we start harassing person, calling them, threatening them, saying words that can body shame and all those things. So those are sometimes unintentional. So it's very common, and there was research that was being done that Malaysia is currently at the 17th place in relation to cyberbullying. So it's quite dangerous, and I have a few cases that I can share with you. Simple thing of cyberbullying where this person, when we were sending out 655 threatening and fake emails to all his his employers. Actually, his intention was just to ask, to be appealing to them to reinstate him as a doctor at the government hospital. So, but the action of him at sending 605 threatening emails is an offence under Section 2231B, because those emails are very, it becomes very annoying to the people. So there was an officer from the ministry who made a complaint. We managed to catch him. When we took his laptop, we found all those emails in his laptop. We found that he had access to that particular email account, and we found the emails, and he was brought to court. He pleaded guilty and was fined 10,000. So I have a few other cases, but my time is at 4:30. So Cik Aiman, should I continue or should I end?
I think we can continue, Datin.
We can continue. Just a few more slides.
Yeah.
Just showing to you that some of the things that we call it online harassment, kan? We have this one. This is a computer programmer. What he did was he likes a person, a girl working, his office mate. The girl rejected his love. So what he did was he uploaded a false content about the girl and posted in the dating.com website, saying that the girl offer sexual services. At the same time, he took a photo of an obscene photo and changed the photo and tampered with the photo by putting the girl's picture there, and sent an email to some of the public and senior government officials, including a minister. So he has somehow embarrassed the victim. The victim lodged a complaint to MCMC. We brought him to court. He pleaded guilty, and he was charged because there were two offences. Yeah, satu uploading dalam dating.com.my, the other one was sending obscene email. He was charged for the first charge 13,000 and the second charge fine of 15,000. All right, all this because he did this in the office. And when we went to his office, we had to go through all the computers in the office. We found the pictures. We found the computer that was used to access the email. We found that the content. We found the content. We were lucky enough to find the content in that particular computer. Yeah. There was another case. This one is also some sort like harassing. They had a fight between friends, and the person got angry, posted in Locanto and Craigslist the victim's number, and also stating that she's offering sex services. We wrote into Locanto and Craigslist. Please beware that this Locanto and Craigslist resides overseas, because it involves body shaming, and it involves personal information. So they shared with us the IP address. From the IP address, we were able to locate the suspect ID, computer's ID number. We found the suspect. He was in Ipoh. We raided his place, found the computer, laptop, and every contents were found in his laptop. We brought him to court. He plead guilty. You see, when the forensics report is complete, there's nothing that he can deny. So he pleaded guilty. He was fined 25,000 and 1 day imprisonment for each fine. In total, he was fined 50,000 with 2 days imprisonment. Yeah. Okay, this is another case involving a student. She has a boyfriend. She came to us because she was being trapped by us and her ex-boyfriend. Yeah. That he will spread pictures of her to university lecturers and scholarship. She's a sponsor. So we able to locate the boyfriend, and then we found in his laptop, because he sent emails to her. He communicated to her through FB Messenger, and he posted her pictures. Yeah, WordPress and to WordPress, and also he posted her picture in the university website. Okay, so he was brought to court under section 2231A on 3 counts. He was he pleaded guilty. Then again, here the forensic report was very complete. The court sentenced him to 1 year imprisonment for each charge, because there's 3 charges, 3 years, and to run consecutively upon ending of one term, another term. So he was jailed for 3 years. Yeah. So that's about all. So if you have any questions, I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Mr. Datin, for very informative presentation. So we are move on for the Q&A session. If anybody have any question.
Yes, I have one question. What is the number one cases that MCMC is currently dealing with?
What is the number one cases currently doing?
It's the most common.
Okay, we mostly in relation to abuse of social media. I can say generally currently that cases that okay, because I'm in the prosecution, so what comes to us, yeah? So what comes to us, mostly cases are abuse of social media. It's meaning spreading of obscene content, yeah, obscene content.
Yeah, and what is the biggest obstacle or challenge that is preventing your department or MCMC from carrying out their duties effectively?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the problem that we now has, because currently there are so many tools and there are so many apps available that you can delete content. The most challenging part, sometimes you have a good case, but then when you when we raided and we get the equipment, we couldn't find any evidence to support that, actually to show that actually he is the one who did the offense. So when that happens, even though you have a, you have a screen capture of the content, it has been deleted and everything. So there's nothing much that we can do. To build a case based on something like that is difficult, So the biggest challenge is when we couldn't find evidence because of, how vulnerable electronic evidence are. You see, so it can be deleted at any time, and then now with the challenges with new encryption codes and all those clouds, those are new challenges that we are facing. Because they don't store it anymore in the phone. I'm sorry, they don't store those content in the computer. They store it in the clouds. Am I able to? Okay, Ivan.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, there are some questions here. How about the online business that provides account number? Okay. Nick Zara, kenapa ya?
Just now you say account number is very dangerous if we spread it general.
Yes.
So how about we need to secure it? And then I have one more question actually. If the person is online business, then we need to, we need to expose ourselves to be more branding. Branding their site, branding their self. So is that dangerous too for ourselves?
Okay, that's the reason why if you follow some of the comments that for those people who do online business, there are risks involved in it. Firstly, you have no if you can see, normally those that do online business, they don't immediately put their account number there. Only account name number is provided for those genuine purchaser. So if you are providing services online, you're doing online business, there is a risk that you have to be you have to be aware of. Let's say, for example, you not only for the purchaser who wants to see whether you are actually a genuine seller, but sometimes I have cases where a seller being approached by somebody who said he wants to buy but he doesn't buy. I like say that I have one. He said that, okay, you have this thing, I want to purchase it on condition. He put a condition, I want to purchase it, but however, can you show me this thing, show you this, trying to get information from you further, about the products and everything and whatever they get information. So you are actually, when you are online business, there are some risk and exposure that you are put to, and so you have to be cautious.
Okay, Datin, I have some question to ask. Maybe can you explain what is about the Fourth Amendment? The Fourth Amendment. What is about? What's actually the Fourth Amendment? Okay, and then the rules of expert witness.
Doctor, Fourth Amendment apa, Doctor?
Because in this chapter dia ada cover tentang the Fourth Amendment, they talk about the warrants, all the cases that search without a warrant, why need the warrant?
I see. Okay, okay, that is the regarding to the Fourth Amendment. The other one is apa ya?
Pasal the rules of expert witness.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about the Fourth Amendment on risk, maknanya search without warrant, search without with or without warrant. Okay, each act has a different provision. Yep, Doctor. So sometimes, like for example, I can only talk on MCMC. We have provisions in the act that talk about search with warrant and search without warrant. Search with warrant is when you have to go to the court, magistrate court, to obtain a warrant to enter a premises. Okay, without that warrant, you tak boleh nak enter premises tu, and you can't even seize anything from the premises. Okay. Then we have search with warrant. Search search without warrant. So in such case in this Communication and Multimedia Act, we can do search without warrant if we bring along a police officer at the rank of inspector.
Oh.
So we will bring along in normal cases, like for example, when you're talking about electronic evidence ni kan, you need it urgently. So if to go to court, you need to take a time. You need to go to get a day when the court is to wait for the magistrate to sit. And sometimes we have cases where we have to wait on Saturday, Sunday. So we can't get the warrant from the magistrate court. So we will get the assistance from the police officer of the rank not less than an inspector to assist us. So when he enter the premises, he enters on his power as a police officer.
Okay.
And then everything that was being seized during that time will be seized by the PDRM. Okay, so you need that because when you enter a premises, it's a private premise of a person. You need to show, because for example, you as a public, when you won't allow it just anyone to just show your an authorization card and I will allow you to enter my premises. It's your right not to allow anyone unless he has a court order and say that okay, I can enter, or the person who comes is a police officer of the rank more than above the police inspector and above. Okay. That's the right of the person, because even though he's a suspect, he has rights, because you don't know it. But like I mentioned to Ivan just now, when you enter a premises, he is not an accused yet. He is just a suspect. We need to find an evidence to build a case against him. So how to do that is when we enter premises, we gather evidence. Okay. All right. You okay with that, Doctor?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Then we are talking about rules of being an expert witness.
Yeah.
Okay. When I put an expert witness on the stand, I understand in court as an expert witness. Anyone that has testified as a witness in court as an expert witness?
Not yet.
Okay. I need to show to court that you are an expert. And how do I do that? Okay, when I ask you a question in court, I said, okay, let's say Dr. Fakaria, please tell the court, what is your background? And you will tell, okay, you are graduated from what, how many years of experience, have you testified in court before, how long has you working doing this thing, or you got to convince the court that you have the qualification to be called an expert witness. Normally, forensic analysts are considered as expert witness. So when you come to court, you have to come with all your certificates that you attend, your degree, which you can tender in the event the court say, how do I say that? How do you prove that actually you went to these courses? You have done this job. Now, how many? Because we are supposed to tender how many hours that we have spent doing forensic work. So to build to convince the court that actually you be considered as an expert witness. So it's important, when you go to court, you say, for example, I have a degree in computer science. You cannot stop that. I have a degree in computer science. I've been working with this let's say with MCMC forensic lab for almost 10 years. I have done cases with police and police, and have done extraction of I have utilized this equipment. I've attended training, Celebrate training every year. I did for expert witness, you have to attend courses, right? There is a courses that you have to attend in order to get to ensure that you are up to date with the latest current version of the equipment that you utilize using to do extract information. Betul tak, Cik Doctor? Yeah, so those are the things which you have to build during court. Normally in court, we will ask you also, okay, what are the tools that you use? you got to explain to the court the tools that you use in order to extract the information. Then later we'll follow back to the case and say, okay, when you did this, what are the information you get? What are the where do you get it from? How will it be extracted? What are the information? So you actually are the critical witnesses in a court case to ensure, just to build a case to confirm that yes, the suspect is the perpetrator of the criminal action. Yeah.
Okay.
So selalunya kan, honestly ya, kalau pergi in court, expert witness, kalau pergi on trial, almost 1 hari lah, kadang-kadang lebih, sebab question will be asked not only by us. We know question by us is quite straightforward, but then question by the defense counsel, that's going to take some time. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. He is sure the system admin or content distributor for university website phishing is the highest case. Tuan Hairul, ini question ke apa?
No, not question.
It's just a statement.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry because phishing is more on PDRM, so I'm not able to provide you stats on that. What it takes to be part of your team. Okay. Cik Aiman, I am in prosecution, but then I would say we have in MCMC DFD, Digital Forensic Lab, where we serve all law enforcement agencies, not only our enforcement team, but we also assist police and other law enforcement agencies. There are certain criteria. I'm so sorry I'm not able to provide you, but I think what I see mostly are those with computer science degree, and the other trainings are for the use of tools and everything. We in MCMC we will train you to use that particular tools, to be an expert to use that particular tools. Okay. Does MCMC has research team to solve cybercrime? What are your suggestions on the possible research area needed in the real world now? Okay. Can now MCMC seize clouds that are already in Malaysia? Okay. Okay. Aiman, tanya soalan. Boleh tahan juga. Okay. We do have MCMC do work with MKN, Majlis Keselamatan Negara, and Cybersecurity Malaysia, and a few others. Looking and the PDRM, because we have seconded people to MKN, Majlis Keselamatan Negara, to look at the current trend, cybercrime trend, to see how we can, to see activities. We also have a team that monitors a spike in hacking, so there are teams that are working on that. What are the possible research area needed? Network security is still a big thing, so I think probably that is something to be considered. Okay, clouds. There's a problem with clouds because clouds does not reside in one place. It's clouds, kan? So we are having problem. We still find it as not a problem. We are finding a challenge in dealing with clouds. We are still working on it.
Datin, example, there's right now in Alibaba, in example, we can choose to provision our VM and resources only in Malaysia. Example. So because they have 2 data center, right? If something went wrong, probably Alibaba don't want to give us data, right? It have us a ransom, right? Can we just make a police report and just seize the data center, something like that? Outside, I understand lah, Interpol, whatnot, right? That one, but now they are actually in our soil. So
then again, is the cloud tu you tak tahu kat mana dia reside. I have a few cases involving broadcasters kan yang dia simpan dia punya content dalam cloud, and when we go to the data center, there's nothing much that we can get from the data center. I'm so sorry, some of this information I'm not able to reveal, but that is a challenge for us to handle, because when we go there we couldn't find a thing. there are a few cases that we went to see the data center and we couldn't find a thing. We really need to look into that too and see how we need to manage those things. That's another challenge that we really need to look at, because it's a challenge to law enforcement agencies, because once everything is in the cloud, jurisdiction wise, it's a question of jurisdiction, Cik.
Kaironism, KN.
Kaironism, KN, Cik KN. It's an issue of jurisdiction. Maybe the offences is committed in Malaysia, but then it's the cloud. The thing is resided elsewhere. It's not in Malaysia. Yeah,
it makes us difficult as enterprise actually want to use cloud technology because it's enticing, while build our own cloud system with AI is cost bomb, because we bomb. So
yeah, and then,
something like that.
It's not even, if I'm not mistaken, it's not even licensed. So there's no control measures that we can impose. You see.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Ivan, yes, you want me to share the slide? Yes, I will.
Yes, please.
Doctor has a copy of the slide. I will leave it to doctor's discretion.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just one last question for curiosity's sake.
Yes, Ivan.
You are in the prosecution department, so have MCMC ever collaborated with MCMC equivalents of other countries, for example, NSA or whoever from other countries, to reach a successful prosecution?
Okay, we have not done that. Then again, each country has its own laws, which is quite different. There is no same. I mean, we don't have the same provisions, but then what we can do, what we normally do, and we exchange notes in how things are being done. For example, from those similars having the similar provision like Singapore, Indonesia, Australia especially, we see how things are being done to resolve a certain issues. How does prosecution needs to do, or what they need to do, and see whether to get a successful prosecution, do we need to amend the law, or is there a new thing that we can introduce? I have done cases where we utilize Singapore past experience in trying to deal with SIM card false registration on SIM cards. So I did that. So we do share each other's experiences and skills and info method, so that we and try to adjust it according to our law. Ivan.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Okay, I just asked a question. Does MCMC employ foreigners?
Currently, we don't have foreigners, Ivan. Currently, we do not have foreigners.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so sorry.
I'm just checking my options.
You
for
could
the
just
future.
you could just write in your resume and see whether they are open for it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Ivan, you applied in your country lah, Ivan.
Excuse
Yes,
me,
ma'am.
Ivan, where are you from?
I'm from Namibia.
I see. So far, we are not, as I'm aware, we are not, we don't even have a foreign intern. Normally, we take it from our own Malaysians.
Yeah, understood. Security issues.
Yes, correct. Especially when you're dealing with forensic and network security.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Datin, soalan penutup
Ya, Aiman ya.
Okay. Soalan saya, Datin, berdasarkan Datin punya presentation tadi, memang banyak akta yang katakan boleh terlibat dengan cybersecurity ni.
Ya.
So, soalan saya, adakah keperluannya untuk Malaysia membuat akta berita palsu tu?
Itu satu topik yang kena sendiri tau nak baca. Okay, kita sekarang ni buat masa ni, for now we are using the section 2331A Communication and Multimedia Act. Then that I showed to you just now, that talks about false. All right, but I would think, and I think we had that Fake News Act, right? We had that, and it was being repealed during one of the session of the government, change of government. It was being repealed. My personal opinion, this is my personal opinion, we should have, because I think the previous act has a provision in the said act that we can apply to court for an order requesting the person to remove the content. Besides, so action through enforcement, macam like I explained to you, it does not, people perception, while within 2 days you'll be able to catch the suspect. But it takes a longer time frame to settle the matter. But in the meantime, you allow such information to go on and on, it can cause serious damage. So how we need to deal it urgently. So how to do it? Probably in the previous Fake News Act, they have a provision that allows you to go to court to order for to seek for an order to remove the said content. So I would think we should look at having a specific provision, a specific act to deal with fake news, because fake news is a thing right now. You know, it can cause disruption to the country. A lot of things that disharmonious, economical things affected. So you can see how fake news can even turn a government, right?
Thank you very much, Datin. With that, we are end of our session. On behalf of the University Technology Mara, I would like to convey my sincere gratitude to you, Datin, for very informative presentation. And guys, please on your camera and on your microphone and give a big clap to our presentation today. Come on, don't be shy. Elaine, please.
Thank you so much for being a very good audience. I know it's a Sunday and everybody, yalah kan weekend. So I thank you so much for the invitation, Doctor, and also to the faculty.
Okay, welcome. Thank you, Datin.
Thank
Very
you.
good information you share with us.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you guys again. Assalamualaikum.
Salam. Thank you, Datin.
Thank you.
Teacher kan ambil photo session dulu. Wait, Datin.
Okay.
Photo session.
Elaine, please on camera. Manja, Aiman, Alia, Najiha, Izzati.
Doktor.
Ya.
Lain kali kita kena buat physical, Doktor, lagi best. Boleh tengok diorang punya muka kan. Jadi dekat sini kan cakap sorang-sorang, rasa macam cakap sorang-sorang je. We should do it physical, Doktor.
Boleh.
Farah. Okay, wait 1, 2, 3. Alright. Okay, with that kita tamatkan dengan tasbih kifarah dan surah An-Nas. Thank you and Assalamualaikum Datin.
Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Datin. Thank you all for your commitment. Okay, bye. Welcome.
Salam.
Salam.